Nemo, I'm sure very exciting for you to be back up. Let's start with that. Be back up here.
Yeah, obviously it's really nice to be back here, back in our apartment and all the stuff. Yeah, it's really nice.
I mean, obviously, it's always difficult to have spent time here, go back to the AHL. But what do you think the most important thing for you was, particularly over the last 20 games in the in the AHL, in terms of developing your game here?
Yeah, I mean, I had a really tough start there, but yeah, I found my way now, and yeah, and I mean, like biggest thing is consistency, and yeah, I did it last 15, 20 games, and yeah, I mean, it's been better than it was.
And what was it in the consistency that you found in your like? Where were those areas?
I feel like both areas, like offensive zone and defensive zone too. I just want to be a really good two-way defenseman, and yeah, I think yeah, I've been last couple games.
Is there a niceness to being able to be paired up with Luke, someone who you're familiar with, just especially just getting back in after so much time away from the NHL game?
Yeah, obviously, like we played a couple games last year together, and I think we know each other pretty well. And yeah, I'm just excited to play with him. He's a great player, great skater, and yeah, I'm so excited to play with him.
And then just to be the person that the organization calls up, right? There are defensemen down there too. I mean, what does that mean to you right now?
Yeah, it means a lot because yeah, we got so many good players. Yeah, but I feel ready for this opportunity, and yeah, yeah, the organization feels too, and yeah, I just want to show how I improved this season in NHL, and yeah, just want to be myself.
Obviously, this summer was the first time you were traded from one club to another in the NHL. What do you think it'll be like to sort of see the old guys on the other side?
It's weird. I saw a few of them poking their heads out during morning skate, so it's definitely going to be weird. Seeing their lineup was different, but at the end of the day, they know my style of play, and they know I'm coming, so it'll be cool to play against those guys.
How different is their lineup right now in terms of you being familiar with what they bring, or maybe that starts at the coaching level, really?
Yeah, I mean they got some guys out, but yeah, you get to learn people's tendencies over some time, and was there for quite a while. So maybe it helps if I see certain guys doing something, I kind of know how they're gonna react most of the time, and so maybe that's a little bit of an edge for me. Sometimes downfall because they know what I'm doing too for the most part. But I think mostly that's coaches. They watch video, they do all that, and player can change throughout the course of a year. So try to see what maybe I used to know with a few of the boys, but other than that, just play my game.
All right, I'll continue on there. Obviously you're a forward and he's a defenseman, but the loss of Siegs, just what that means to this team, and especially just how big of a role he's really played this year.
Yeah, it's a tough blow. I think he's one of those guys that does many things that maybe don't show up on the score sheet, but it ends up in us having 2 points. So yeah, that's a huge loss. I mean, it's kind of a little wind taken out of the sail, but that's what happens with teams, and we have now Nemo up, who's a really skilled defenseman. So him to get another kick at the can is awesome to see, and it's when times like this, guys get new opportunities and stuff, be able to step up. So I think we should be all right.
The significance of a final home game before, only 2 games left before this break, dealing with so many injuries and key injuries. What is a game like this, what type of weight does that carry?
It's huge. I mean, we emphasize that it's a big game for us. Obviously, we didn't like our last 15 games prior, and starting to kind of get back on the horse, doing the right things, finishing games properly. So obviously a good opponent tonight, and they're towards the top in the standings, so it'd be a good thing for us to set the pace going into the break, winning these next 2.
Thanks, Paul. Pesce, let's start with the absence or the injury to Jonas here, and what type of significance that means to the team, and just how much he carries for you guys here.
Yeah, heck of a player. To be honest, I didn't really know much about him until I obviously played here, but oh man, he's so steady and so solid, and he does a lot of heavy lifting for us. So obviously it's it's a big hole that we're going to need to fill, and everyone else is gonna have to step up.
As a team, this game, last home game before the break, only 2 before the break left. How much weight does this particular game carry without Siegs, Nico, like the list kind of goes on and on?
Yeah, I mean, we need 2 points. Obviously, our game hasn't quite been there for quite some time now, and or at least where we would like it to be. So, these next 2 games are so important for us to grab points and kind of find our identity again and kind of get our confidence going before the break.
And then you playing on your, like, are you comfortable with, I mean, you've played so many games,
Yeah.
and have you done that a lot in your career, maybe when you were in Carolina?
Yeah, I played half a year with Justin Falk one of the years, but I think that was like 7 years ago. So,
What is the challenge then?
yeah,
Right?
I mean, it's just different, just pivoting and offensive zone, and you're just on your backhand a lot. Obviously, it'll take some a little time, hopefully not too much, and I try to keep the game simple anyway, so that's what I'll try to do.
I was going to say, is it just sort of like that muscle memory, like getting that back kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure. Just gonna take some reps, and hopefully I could figure it out quick.
Sheldon, if we can start with Jonas and just what you guys kind of know right now about where he's at.
Yeah, still being evaluated. He's going to go see another specialist just to get a better idea of exactly where we're at in the timeline and such. But clearly not going to be available here this week. So we bring in Nemec back and welcome him in and give him an opportunity.
Before we talk about Nemo, I just want to ask about, talking to the guys about losing Siegs. They say that there's so much that he does that maybe to the common eye we don't see. What are those things, and what are you missing when you don't have him?
Well, he's a very reliable and consistent defender. He kills a lot of plays defensively, cleans up a lot of mistakes from a lot of other people, and does a lot of heavy lifting on our penalty kill. Tough matchups playing against the other team's best players, so it's a significant loss. It's a significant hole, not unlike the impacts that Nico has on the forward side, or I guess even marking a goal. Like it's a significant loss, but like we've seen, we can find ways to win without key people. It just takes everybody else stepping up individually and the collective group being that much better and tighter as a unit.
When it comes to Nemec being up here, obviously he was disappointed going back to the AHL, but said in the last 20 games he feels he's found a bit of a consistency. What is it that you're going to look from him, to say, like, okay, this is an opportunity for you? What does grabbing this opportunity mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, the opportunity is what it is. We need a guy. We're very fortunate to have somebody of his talent available to us, and rather than him being here, in our mind, he's in lots of ways always been the seventh defenseman here. It just so happens that he's been in Utica and benefiting from playing a lot and the extra practice time and all the things that come outside of the NHL. So I feel like he's benefited from that. Used the off day yesterday to dig in on a lot of the video and get some communication from the development staff and coaching staff there about where exactly he's at. And that's been pretty consistent, the feedback throughout. But digging in obviously more with him coming back yesterday and then, feel like he's ready for this opportunity. And that's the great thing about it. I mean, all young players want to be in the NHL, and you get that, you appreciate that. You want guys to be hungry. I coached 4 years in the American Hockey League, and I think the only players happy to be in the AHL are those that come from the ECHL. So that's just a reality of it. But there's always differing opinions on whether players should or shouldn't be in the American League or the NHL. But what I don't think can be debated is that every player can benefit from being in the AHL. So that was the message for Nemo being down there. So he's done the work, and there's some positive projection in his game. But in terms of what we're going to want to see from him here, it's that consistency, the defensive reliability, and then we think he can contribute on offense too, and he's got things to offer there that can help our group on that side of it. But all that has to be on a foundation of consistent and solid defending, like you would for any other player.
Can you provide an update on Nico? It looks like he was skating out there on his own.
Yeah, he's back. He's back on the ice. He's not going to be available at this point. this week, but the way it's trending, it would be a surprise if he's not available when we return from the break.
You think of that break, a lot of coaches around the league asked, is it a good thing, is it a bad thing, based on how your team is playing and the injuries, of course? Could you use it as a positive to have that 2 weeks between games?
Yeah, I think I think it is, like you say, with the injuries. We've been very fortunate for the most part throughout the season with injuries. Now they're piling up, so the break comes at a good time. With that being said, I think it's also well earned, the break. Like in order to get a break like this, and the schedule gets more condensed, just the demands of the season just get a little bit enhanced, so we're just, I think the guys are ready for that. And I think at the same time, those who are leaving for Four Nations, they're excited just the same for that challenge and opportunity. But we've got 2 very important games here to focus on. So that's really what we've been talking about as a group.
Sheldon, how nice was it as his coach to see Eric Haller rewarded getting a roster spot for Finland at Four Nations?
Yeah, it's great to see. I mean, obviously, he's a veteran player in the league. He's played in the league a long time, and his national team, knows him very well. So, it is good to see him get rewarded. He's excited about it and has worked hard to get himself back, not only to help our team, but to be available for that opportunity. I'll just say outside of that, it's just nice to have him back the other night. I mean, he helped us so much. We've talked about not having Nico and such, but not having Nico and Hala, who are guys that take on a lot of face-off and defensive responsibilities, and just the importance of the center ice position. It was nice to have him. In fact, I said to him, I probably leaned on you a little bit too much the other night in your first game back, but I think he's happy to be back and contributing.